Hello, in this video we will discuss about the breakup and the love physiology. So according to 2008 study, when people engage in long-term relationships, they often start to regulate each other's biological rhythms such as sleep, basically the change of the sleep, heart rate, so the heart rate can be increased, and body temperature, appetite, and immune system also. So the appetite mean during the love phase, the appetite will be decreased and body temperature can be increased. So in this way, here is the limbic system which that's contained. Here is the cingulate gyrus, and this is the thalamus, and this is the cerebrum and cerebellum, and this is the amygdala for emotion, the amygdala for emotion, and the here is you can see this is the hypothalamus, which that below the hypothalamus the pituitary gland should be. So hypothalamus is used for the homeostasis, remember, and this is the insula cortex. Insula cortex is the inner cortex of the cerebrum, while here is the input olfactory neurons also stimulate, while here is the hippocampus. This is the memory conversion through hippocampus. So let's begin to understand the limbic system further. So this is the separate, here is the prefrontal cortex, and this is the cerebrum as well as the medial insula. So the medial insula is involving, but in this case here is the cerebral cortex, and this is the medial insula, and while here is the ventral tegmental area, and while that is the nucleus accumbens, and this is the thalamus. So in this way, the stimulus which that stimulate the higher brain cortex, the cerebral cortex, which that will trigger the medial insula, and after this it will trigger the medial insula through a dopamine release to the thalamus. That is the interneuron involved, and this is the basically the interneuron. The ventral tegmental area will stimulate through thalamus, and after this basically ventral tegmental area will trigger the nucleus accumbens to prefrontal cortex to release the dopamine more during the love phase, and the amygdala is used for the dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. A releasing mechanism will lead to emotional center. So in this way the dopamine will excrete more as a neurotransmitter, and that means the amygdala is the output, should be the dopamine, serotonin, and epinephrine produced and go into the peripheral part of the body, so lead to vasodilation, breathing more, heart rate fast stimulation, happiness, and the parasympathetic nervous system inhibition. So the less appetite due to the parasympathetic nervous system inhibition, but the sympathetic nervous system activation will lead to cause also fear during the love time. So the withdrawal of the alcohol drug can work same like sudden loss of lovers, and love affect the brain, increase the activity in the anterior cingulate cortex, and medial insula, caudate nucleus, and the putamen nucleus, and it is interpretation. So in this way, the breakup involved for this mechanism, the medial insula, caudate nucleus, and the putamen, we will discuss in the next diagram. So thalamus also trigger the neuroendocrine cells of the thalamus will of the hypothalamus to produce the adrenocorticotropic releasing factor, will target to the adenohypophysis and to release the corticotropic hormone, which that trigger the adrenal gland to produce catecholamine, will trigger same mechanism and also increase the sympathetic nervous system activation. While here is the oxytocin will produce during the love time, will lead to increase the bonding and vasodilation through a neuroendocrine system. Here is the breakup process. What is the breakup? That was the love process of the nervous system. While the what is breakup? So this is the pain feeling anterior cingulate gyrus are present. This is, so remember, and this is the putamen nucleus, and this is the caudate nucleus, and this is the amygdala output emotional center, which that will feel the pain through if the breakup. So after this is the thalamus. So input can be the higher brain cortex, for example, and medial insula. So the higher brain cortex will feel the breakup stress to inhibitory nerve activation to reduce the neurotransmitter stimulation, will lead to target to the medial insula, and this is the inhibition to stimulate the median insula to production of dopamine for further stimulation. And it will basically the putamen nucleus will target to the caudate nucleus, and in this way the caudate nucleus is basically the amygdala output, which that will be work. So in this manner, in this way it will be target to the different tissue, the adrenergic nerves, which that will be basically through receptor, adrenergic receptor to the neurotransmitter, and this neurotransmitter is the norepinephrine, epinephrine or other. So the stress reactive oxygen species of the tissue, vasoconstriction, catabolism and lipolysis and glycogenolysis will be occur. While the increase the glycogenolysis will increase the glucose in the blood circulatory system, is the hyperglycemia will lead to target to the pancreas to increase the insulin and type 2 diabetes mellitus. And on the other hand, it will be target to the insulin receptor to insulin insensitivity in later on. While here the catecholamine such as the epinephrine and norepinephrine, which that will be target to the also the tissue to same mechanism, because the catecholamine the cortisol hormone also, which that will lead to late response the catabolism after the neuro sensory activation. And this is, you can see the putamen nucleus, which that will target to the caudate nucleus, and this caudate nucleus is the basically amygdala stimulation lead to emotional center to pain, feel the pain. Why is the vasodilation will be occur in the inhibition of appetite in the digestive system, while the vasoconstriction will occur in the blood circulatory system, will lead to heart breathe fast. On the other hand, the headache, vomiting and weight loss, and tachycardia attack or heart stroke or arrhythmias. So if here is, you can see this is the nervous stimulation, and this is the neuroendocrine stimulation. So remember, while here is the endocrine stimulation during the breakup, and what will be happen, you should understand about that. And here is the stress summary. This stress summary is, we will discuss the stimulation through a stress stimulus will lead to cerebrum and limbic system to the thalamus, and thalamus to the hypothalamus, to the pituitary gland, lead to produce a stress hormone and stimulation again. So in this way, the pain is the same mechanism during the breakup because the amygdala is the output which and anterior cingulate gyrus are present, which that is also feel the pain.